Woo! Spitting hot fire on the mic. Spitting it. Keeping it right. What's up, guys? Welcome to Beyond the Podcast. I'm here with my man, Obese to be.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Obese the Beast, coming at you live from Beyond the Podcast.
You are way too energetic today, boy.
I am.
As always, if you guys do want to support the podcast, you can do so by using my Amazon link, amazonbrian.com.
Yes.
Before you go on Amazon to make any online purchases, gives us a small commission without adding any fee to you. Goes towards equipment and hosting for this podcast. You are my hype man today, bro.
You know it.
So what are we talking about, dude?
We are going to talk about, whatever you want to talk about.
I want to talk about trying new things and not limiting yourself to what you think is cool.
I think that's a great idea.
Right? I feel like everybody gets into whatever they're into, and then they stick with that, and then that's the holy righteous way to go, and that's the coolest shit to do, and everything else is dumb.
Yeah. And, I get where people are coming from when they think like that. Like, because when you get so used to something, and usually when you're doing something for a long time, you get pretty proficient at it and you get pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to want to switch your thought and hard to want to switch what you're doing because you feel like, I'm really good at this thing already. And if I start doing something else, I might not be that good at it. So then it almost seems like it's natural to just start negatively talking about the other ways of doing things and other ways of trying things because like you're so ingrained in the way that you do things. Yeah,
you're like a big frog in a pond, and you're like, I don't want to be a tadpole in that pond over there. You like know the ins and outs of your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's I actually have this recently. It's kind of something I'm considering. Is I've been using Sony Vegas Pro to edit videos forever. Yeah. Literally for like 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. And now I want to move over to Adobe Premiere, maybe Final Cut Pro.
Yes.
But that requires me to start at a lower level of proficiency where I already know I could make a better video with what I know.
Yeah, that's actually, for some people that don't edit, they probably don't realize how huge of a decision that is because
really?
I remember, so I use Adobe Premiere Pro and I've been telling Brian to use it because the reason I like it so much is that it just, you can use it Mac, you can use it PC.
Cross-platform.
So that's why I think it's awesome. And there's, there's anything you want to do, you can do on there.
Yeah, it's great.
It is different than Sony Vegas. And when I started using Premiere Pro, before I had it, I was using Windows Movie Maker and like a very basic version. Like you literally couldn't even layer 2 videos on top of each other.
Yeah.
So I remember when I got into Premiere Pro, I literally had no idea what things were or how to put a video in there. And I was just like, okay, well, gonna be watching YouTube videos for the next 2 weeks to figure out how to make this thing work.
I feel like a middle schooler in a college class.
Yeah.
Like, what are all these numbers and buttons and stuff?
Yep.
Right? So, that's something that's holding me back from doing something new. But anyways, the point of this podcast is try new things,
You grow the most when you step out of your comfort zone.
Yes. Anytime
you do. Like, what about, there's that saying, about a shark, right? If you put a shark in a big glass cage, what are they called? Tank. There we go.
Tank. You were singing.
A big tank or a relatively okay sized tank, it's only going to grow as big as that tank and it can't get any bigger. But say you put it in the ocean and it can grow to its full potential. You know what I mean? So if you limit yourself to the small tank, you're only going to get so big. And yeah, you might be the biggest shark in that tank, but guess what? You're not as big as you could be.
Yeah.
So when you diversify yourself basically and try new things, you can become a bigger shark. If you want to be a shark.
Well, totally, because you can be so happy with where you are and you might think dude, this is awesome, I'm perfectly content and stuff like that, and that's totally fine. That's cool.
Definitely.
That's fine. But it's hard to do new things because it's hard to be I'm happy right now, and if I break out of something that's comfortable for me, I could be happier. But most people can't go that far to think this could be better. Yeah, because it's already fine.
Because you're thinking if I'm good at what I'm doing now, if I break out of this and do something else, I might fail, which is obviously that's hard to deal with. Or I might be really bad at it for a really long time, and I don't want to deal with that, which is understandable too.
And so this has happened for you lately.
Oh yeah. So obviously the main thing, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, and maybe some of you guys don't, but I just recently started doing CrossFit, and I'm sure right when I said that, a lot of you guys cringed. And It is what it is. I understand where people are coming from with their malice towards it and their hate towards it. Some of it I understand, some of it I think is a little ridiculous. But for me, it was definitely like I was that person that didn't really care for CrossFit, before I started doing it. And I didn't know anything about it though. That's the thing. Like I just saw the videos and thought, oh yeah, CrossFit's stupid, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But then like so my brother started doing it about a month before I did.
Okay.
And I saw how much he really enjoyed it and just how much fun he was having. And then he had me, this is going to sound like a CrossFit ad, but he had me, like, he told me that there's a documentary, and documentaries are literally my favorite form of media. Like, I love documentaries. I love them. So he's like, there's a documentary on the last CrossFit Games if you want to watch it. And I was like, sure, why not? So I watched it, and I remember I was just like, wow, like, these people are actually really good athletes. Like, these guys are amazing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that, because all I had seen was like the videos of the fails, which are, granted, they're hilarious, and I still think they're funny, and sometimes incredibly dangerous, but that's all I knew about it, right? Yeah. So then I watched the documentary, and I was just like, whoa, this looks crazy. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I started watching a YouTuber by the name of, his YouTube handle is called Team Richie. He's basically like a vlogger, but he does CrossFit videos. So he's like a fitness vlogger, but mainly CrossFit stuff. Mm-hmm. So I started watching his stuff and just seeing that CrossFit, because when you look at CrossFit, normally you look at like the CrossFit Games, and that's literally like those are like the best athletes in the sport. You know what I mean? So you're like comparing yourself, and you're like, I'll never be able to do that. But then watching Craig, who is Team Richie, he's really good, but I saw that there is a starting point, you know? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Like, I want to give this a shot just to challenge myself. Yeah. So I went and I did my first workout, and I've been filming them and stuff like that, and it's been really cool, rewarding for me, definitely, because when I was obese and overweight, I literally, I wasn't athletic at all. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing in these workouts are things I've never done before in my entire life.
Jumping on a box.
Yeah, exactly. And like, people think that might sound silly, but honestly, the first time I did a box jump there, a 24-inch box jump, which is like the standard for men, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. And I can do it hundreds of times in a row. It's literally not a problem for me. But I thought I was not going to be able to do it. So like stuff like that, and jump rope, and all of these things that I've literally never been able to do. Yesterday I climbed the rope for the first time.
I saw that on Instagram. And like, it's cool.
It literally is like just opening my mind up and like realizing, okay, because like I don't know what it is, but like being so overweight for such a long period of time, you still like limit your body to what you think you can actually do. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And doing these workouts, and it kind of forces you to try new things, and there's so much stuff to work on, and I've really, really been enjoying it. But obviously on the flip side, there's the haters that come along with it. and the thing, I've been saying this, the thing about form, I completely understand. And when people say like, oh, you can get injured, I completely understand. Like, I've seen the videos, I've seen them too. I totally get it. And it's not like I'm saying I'll never get injured. But at the same time, go to any 24-hour fitness and watch people deadlift. Right. Go to any 24-hour fitness and watch people bench press. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I get the form's bad, but there's always, any workout I've ever done at a CrossFit gym, there is a coach there that if your form is so bad that like you will be injured, they will step in and say, hey, you need to stop. It's just how it is there. At 24-hour fitness, those personal trainers walk right by someone that's like snapping their shoulders in half when they're doing bench press.
Or they're even teaching the person to do it that way.
Yeah. So, and like, I'm not trying to turn this into an argument for CrossFit or whatever, but like that one, like I said, I understand it, but like look at the other side of the coin, because there's still, it's not like form is perfect everywhere else and it's just bad in CrossFit. Yeah. The one that annoys me, and that is just kind of, I feel like it's just stupid, and I'm sure most people that say it are just saying it as a joke because it's been said so many times, but like the whole like, oh, you're going to lose all your gains because you're doing CrossFit, that one bothers me, because I could see if maybe I only did CrossFit 4 times a week, that was my only workout, that's it. But it's like, I'm going to the gym, I'm still doing my bodybuilding stuff, and I'm doing CrossFit on top of that, which is basically like a lot of cardio, and obviously I'm doing lifting still too, and all this other stuff, rope climbing, box jumps, jump rope, all of this stuff, So that one's just frustrating because, like, we were talking about this earlier, was like, we just did a men's physique show where we were lifting 6 days a week and then doing 40 minutes of cardio on the stairs every single day. And we literally were losing our gains. Like, if you think about it, we were literally like, losing size, and a little bit of that's muscle that's, you can't help it. But then obviously most of it was fat. And I think we both did a good job with it. But it's like, what's most important is your nutrition. And if I'm eating enough, why would I just all of a sudden lose all of my muscle? Like,
right.
That's the thing that I don't understand. And it's just, I think it stems from just people saying it so much, people saying it so much, people saying it so much. And then people are just like, oh, must be true. Like if you do CrossFit, you'll get skinny all like in one workout. That's the thing that kind of...
Well, this is the closed-minded comfort zone thing.
Exactly.
Is you just take a generalization or a stereotype that you've heard, maybe you've seen once or twice in a Facebook video or something, and then you just apply that to everything.
Yeah.
And then that becomes your new preconceived judgment of what it is, and then that also becomes your excuse for not trying new things. Like if you never try a different food, like I never tried Indian food because I would hear like, oh, it makes you poop a lot. It's disgusting. It makes your mouth disgusting. All these weird things. So I was just like, oh, Indian food's gross. It makes me think of diarrhea because those are the stereotypical jokes, right? But then I try Indian food, and now my palate has increased to all these different types of things, turmeric and lemongrass and all these different flavors that I would have implemented.
Yep.
And now I'll implement them in my normal, whatever you call Brian's diet, like my whatever that is.
Just throw everything in a pan diet.
Yeah, exactly. but like now I have a whole new palate, and it's much wider. And it's that age old phrase. It's just like step out of your comfort zone, and your comfort zone becomes wider.
Yeah.
The wider your comfort zone is, the more comfortable you are, just period, in regular everyday situations, because you've done more, you understand more, you have better perspective. And the fact that people will do it, like what you're saying, man, they'll just see, okay, like the first couple of people who did CrossFit just quit bodybuilding and then did CrossFit. So yes, they lost gains, or maybe they weren't eating right, or whatever it is. So some people, lost size. Just like with vegan people in the beginning, all the vegan people didn't know how to do fitness and bodybuilding with the diet and stuff. So people were like, oh yeah, vegan people lose like muscle stuff. Same exact thing, man. It's just these preconceived conceptions, and it's so lame that people can't go try something once, make their own decision up.
And the thing that's kind of like disheartening is if you're seeing someone that's doing something that's obviously bringing them a ton of joy, like CrossFit,
True.
I think it's pretty obvious, how I was talking about it.
You
that,
love
like,
it.
It's literally like just showing me how much more I can do with my body. And it's just so enjoyable. And it's like the reason I'm filming it and showing you guys is because I'm just being real. Like I'm not going to do CrossFit and then not film it because I'm scared of what people are going to say. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but like I'm not going to stop doing CrossFit because a few people hate that I'm doing CrossFit, Right. And that's the thing that's because before I would have really tried to like cater towards, basically it would like I would try and cater towards the negativity, but now I'm like, you know what? This video, it might have X amount of dislikes, but it has 30 times more likes. So whatever, but yeah, it's kind of, it's like one of those things that like I understand where people are coming from, like maybe that they don't understand it, but like I always say, like just give it a shot. Just do one workout. And but be open. Don't do one workout and think to yourself, I'm going to hate this. This is going to be terrible. Yeah. Like go in.
Half-ass this.
Yeah, go in, try your hardest, and I guarantee you'll definitely at least get a good workout for sure. And I'm not saying, and like I've never said that CrossFit is for everybody, but I think anybody can do CrossFit, but not everyone's going to like it. But it's just different, like it's just weird because
different but not superior. Nothing's superior.
Yeah, and I don't say that like I'm much better now that I'm doing CrossFit. No, I'm just like I'm realizing that I can do more with my body because I'm doing CrossFit. And it's one of those things that it's just kind of weird because everything's so different, but we're like using the same thing. We're still being active. That's like the most important thing, I think. Yeah. And so it's just, I don't know. I would never hate on someone because they're like, hey, I want to start doing, powerlifting. Awesome. Like that's great. I hope you kill it, and I want to start doing bodybuilding. Awesome. I hope you kill it. It's just a weird kind of thing.
Well, and then like, it's just funny because there's stereotypes that just follow certain things. Like, I think his name's Vincent, the guy that does shot putting and stuff.
Yeah. Matt,
Okay, Matt Vincent. Yeah, right. So he does Highland.
Yeah, sports? Highland Games, I think is what it's called.
So he throws like crazy hammers and like tosses balls and like throws spears and barrels like at people and stuff. It's really cool. But nobody would ever say, "Oh, bro, you started Highland gaming, you lose all your games."
Exactly.
Because there's no preconceived notions about it yet because it's not big enough.
Exactly.
It's so funny that people would just let their mind get made up. And something I want to point out is like you should never not try something because there's going to be negative feedback at first. That's always going to be the case. Always, because the most comfortable way to be is complacent and secure. So anytime someone breaks away from that pack, even if it's not you, just natural human responses to be like, oh no, dude, you're breaking away from what we're doing. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool. But if you just do what you really want to do, people will always like your true self more than the self that you're trying to hold up to a group standard.
I will always say, as long as it's not hurting I think hurting you, because I think everyone always says like, as long as it's not hurting other people. But I mean, I don't want it to hurt you.
True.
So, like, as long as it's not hurting you, and especially other people. Who, like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that I don't understand. It's like, what's the issue? It's not like I'm saying, hey, do this exact workout as fast as me or else you suck. And then people are getting injured. You know, I'm just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing today. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
or you suck.
Yeah, or you're the worst ever.
What was your time? You. Oh, good, because you suck.
Yeah.
But like when I went to this, I guess not so much negative feedback here, but when I went to England, it was something that was so nerve-wracking to me. I was like gonna go by myself. I couldn't afford to bring anybody with me, so that was really nerve-wracking. Never been out of the country. Never really traveled much except for kind of our like little things, Olympia and Vegas and stuff like that. So for me, it was like this crazy jump outside of my comfort zone. Not only am I have to get the first time I'm going to fly internationally, get a passport, go through customs, all these things I never thought I would be doing. So I didn't know if I was going to work. You know, when I get there, I wasn't sure if I would be able to like connect with who I was trying to connect with. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get from one train to the other.
Yeah.
Everything, man. It's so nerve-wracking. And all those are great excuses to be like, yeah, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wait until someone can come with me. But I did it, dude, and 100 million buttholes, I can tell you, it was so worth my time.
Oh,
man.
yeah, I bet.
I came back like, I wouldn't say cultured, you know? I had a different perspective from the culture I experienced. I'm not cultured yet.
Yeah. But you went to England.
I know. Right?
They speak the same language.
It's like I went to New England here in America.
Yeah, I went down to this Temecula. It's about an hour away, dude. Super cultured now, bro. Have you ever been there?
I know everything now.
Their local cuisine is just crazy.
But now I'm a more proficient person at traveling. No problem. I can if someone wants to go international. Not that I'm like a professional at it or anything, but I get it. I know what's going to happen. You're going to need your passport when you land. You're going to need to know the person's name, their address, and their phone number. I didn't know those things before. Now I feel comfortable, you know, and that's so powerful. Being comfortable doing something makes everything so much easier. You don't have to keep being anxious and then coming up with excuses for things why you shouldn't do things. And I feel like the more things that you do outside of your comfort zone and you succeed at them, the more comfortable you are at doing things outside of your comfort zone because you assume that you can probably succeed at it.
Yeah. But even if you don't succeed though, you still like if you fail, like that's always a learning experience.
True.
You know?
True.
Like, and like success is it's hard to define success. Like what is success? You know what I mean? So I think you could even consider success just the actual fact, the actual action of jumping outside your comfort zone. Whether you do good, do bad, do great, do amazing, you stepped out of your comfort zone.
Hell yeah.
You get a gold star for the day.
You get a 1 foot circumference added to your zone.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
That's totally true. That's an absolutely awesome point. Yeah, no doubt. What's something else that you've done that's outside of your comfort zone? I know you have a million, bro.
Something that I've done that's outside of my comfort zone. That's a good. Well, okay, this is it's still kind of related to CrossFit, but I remember I've always thought about like getting compression gear when I'm working out, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I'd always kind of be like, I don't really need it that much because when I'm doing bodybuilding stuff, I don't really jump around, move around that much. Honestly, it's very like, you know, basic movements. I'm not doing anything crazy. Cardio is on the stairs. I'm not jumping around. So I remember my first, I know it's still related to CrossFit. I apologize. But when I went to my first workout, we had to run. Dude, that was the first time I had run a quarter mile. Like you said, your first time. I don't even remember how long. It was like, so we did that, and
since
I remember
high school, maybe.
Dude, crazy. And then so after that, we had to do the jumping jacks, and then we did jump rope that session too. So I remember, you know, I have the loose skin from losing weight, and I was like, this is not fun. Like this sucks, you know, because I had to pull up my pants every time because my, you know, whatever. But so I decided that I'm gonna go again like 2 days later. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Dick's Sporting Goods and just buy or just try on some compression gear because for some reason I don't know what it was. I was just like, I don't know. It almost kind of scared me. I don't know why. I really can't explain it, but I don't know.
Well, it makes sense. Like when you're a big guy, you don't buy 3XL compression stuff.
Exactly.
Probably.
Yeah. So I was just like, man, you know. So I went there. I tried it on, and like I remember it was super tight. I still wear it every time I go to the gym. Every time I go to the CrossFit gym. So it's still super tight, but it was like really tight, and I was like, man, this is tight. But I bought it. I bought some tops and some bottoms, and I remember I wore them later to the workout, and oh my gosh, dude! Like I'm so glad that I did that, because it literally, like, the first run, I was like, holy crap, this is what people feel like when they run normally.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have this stuff like flopping around, and like they don't have to deal with the loose skin. They don't have to deal with that. And so it made me feel bad for girls that have like larger, chests, because like that probably sucks, man. Like no matter how much compression you use, like that probably is always an issue.
Left, right, up and down motion.
Gosh, man. But like, so it literally like blew my freaking mind, man. And I was just so glad that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go try it on. I know it's not even that huge, but like even that tiny act of just going, trying it on and just giving it a shot, because, like, I don't know why, but I was almost like nervous to wear it to a workout, because like, I don't know, someone might see it and like, what's that? Blah, blah. But like, I don't really mind talking about that, but I don't know, subconsciously for some reason I just didn't want to deal with it. So I wear it every time I go now, and it literally has changed those workouts for me. Like, I'm much more confident when I'm running. I'm not even worried about it at all. So like, I know it's kind of still related to CrossFit, but like that was a huge one for me.
No, that's awesome. Because like, you're pretty comfortable now in a lot of things. You have a much wider comfort zone, especially in these last few years. I think both of us have grown quite a bit. But it's like, it's not even like you have a central comfort zone. You have comfort zones for different things. Some of them are really small and some of them are really, really big. And that's one of those things. Like, maybe you weren't even actively able to realize that that's something you weren't comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
Until this became something that you had a problem with or whatever.
Yeah.
And then can you imagine if that day you were like, yeah, no, like, I'm gonna feel really weird trying them on. It's not really like me.
Yeah.
Because you got that weird.
Yeah. I would probably not enjoy. I probably wouldn't be doing CrossFit as much or at all, because it would just not be fun for me.
And you're having such a good time doing CrossFit right now. So you would have an entire thing that you're having such a great time taken out of your life.
Yeah.
Comfort zones, dude.
Yeah.
Right there. Mine.
What about you? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a good one. I mean, this one's. It's probably super obvious once I say it, but not obvious unless I say it. Going to homeschool to public school. That was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because I could mention a bunch of other things. I could mention like going to an expo, or I could mention going to my first party at a high school thing where
or getting Accutane, actually. I'm not sure if you were worried about that when you first got it. But
I was frightened.
Yeah. So.
But like going to high school in the beginning, man. Can you imagine?
Dude, I couldn't even.
You don't know me from before, but can you imagine if I didn't go and involve myself with public interactions? I would be such a small, nervous, closed-minded person who was like super against everything, like subcultures, countercultures, and stuff like that, because it was just the way I was raised, religion and close family and whatnot. And like, I couldn't be farther from that. And I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have been happy with Brian Jr., but dude, I am so excited about who I am today. And I absolutely would be in a whole different pitchfork of a path if I hadn't gone and pushed myself. And dude, that is by far my biggest comfort zone that I've jumped out of. Going from not having to talk to anybody, and everything's fine. I'm doing well in school. Everything is moving forward as far as what a kid is supposed to do. I'll be in college in 10 years, whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't need to go to high school. There was no reason. But doing it was so great. And
is there a story behind that? Like, did you say, "Hey, Mom, I want to go to regular school like a normal kid," or was it like you were forced to, or what?
No, so I was. My mom actually didn't want me to go to high school because she heard like horror stories from her other, church friends and stuff who were like, like they smoke cigarettes and do drugs, and some of the kids get in jail from high school and stuff. So she just thinks I'm going to go to high school and it's just gonna be like gang banging and what's up, blood, 213 block. You know what I mean? Here's your 9mm. Welcome to high school. Here's your choice of heroin or weed.
Oh my gosh.
So she didn't want me to go, so she was planning on homeschooling me all the way through. And I remember,
lift heavy or die MIRIN, motherfucker. Team me up, week. CT, lift heavy or die